How's it going, guys? This is Franco Soto from the Harlingen Public Library Reference Department, back with another painting video for y'all. So this is going to be October. That means we are going to do a Halloween-themed painting, something a little fun. The link for that painting, so that you guys can look at it or print it out for yourselves, that's going to be in the description, along with a list of all the materials that y'all are going to need. Okay, guys? So make sure to read over that if you want to just get prepared before we start everything. And if y'all are ready, let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the image that I'm going to be referencing to recreate our painting. Hopefully you guys printed it out or you have it in another window somewhere. I went ahead and I added my paints to a styrofoam plate. That way, once I'm done, I don't have to worry about any sort of cleanup. I can just toss it to the side, or if I need another one, just grab another one. I also have a glass of water to clean my brushes with. Whenever you want to clean your brushes, basically, you're gonna put them in a paper towel after you've wet them and clean them off. But I'll kind of go through that when we get to it, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and begin from this corner and make my way to the right, okay? So watch what I do, and I guess let's get going. So like I said, I already put these colors on here. I'm mixing some up just to try to get this color over here, and let's go. So after we've kind of got more or less what we want, or at least the darker areas that we want, we're gonna let that layer dry, and then we're gonna go over it afterwards, okay? So as with any sort of painting, even though this is acrylics, and acrylics tends to dry a little, or a lot faster, I guess you could say, than oil paints, you're still gonna want to give it some time to go ahead and dry first, okay? This bottom part that I started off already is starting to look a little less glossy, and you know that it's drying off when it's not as shiny as it used to look before. You'll see the paint sort of dulled down, or the color, I guess you could say, sort of dulled down, and once it's dried to the touch, then go ahead and start painting. But right now, I already know it's not going to be dry enough, so let's go ahead and let's give this some minutes to dry. Maybe wait a good 5 minutes, clean your brushes off a little bit, and then we'll get going again. All right? Okay, guys, so we're back again. Hopefully you let it dry. By this time, I waited about 5-6 minutes, give or take, and I can touch it and no paint on me. Right? It's very dry, and you can physically actually see that it's dry. Okay, guys? So let's go back at it with coat number 2. All right, let's go. I mixed these 3 colors to make this one, just to darken up my blue. Okay, so that was the second coat of the blue. Now we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit more of this part to make it darker like it is in this painting here. So let's get going with that. Wash the brush again. Just a quick thing, guys. I'm going darker right here because it's dark right here. So I let that dry again another 5 or 6 minutes, guys, and I'm gonna go ahead and go back at it. Kind of darken my blues a little bit here just so there's not as much canvas showing through there. And that's one of the reasons that we wait, actually, guys, because if we don't wait, then you're just gonna be scratching that paint off continuously. So the more layers of paint, the nicer the color you get, the deeper and the richer of the color you're gonna get as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back at it. I'm gonna go with just maybe, or yeah, just a solid blue and kind of just go around here, okay? So if you see, that's covering up a lot of those white areas that we have that we don't want that on our canvas. Okay guys, and we're back. Went ahead and let that layer dry for a little bit longer than the last ones because this area right here, I put kind of a thick, layer of paint. In the meantime, I went in and I changed my water. I got this because we're gonna start on the moon in a bit, and this should make my life a heck of a lot easier. And yeah, let's go ahead and start up again. I'm gonna add one more final layer here and here before we start working on the pumpkins and the moon, because these ones are probably going to be our last couple things that we do. So we're going to do here, this blue area, and then probably some branches after that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. All right. And we're back, guys. So now we're going to work on trying to get this moon part taken care of, okay? I'm gonna add the white to my palette really quick. Okay, and I got one of these because I'm gonna try to make a perfect circle, which is hard, but if you have one of these, it's a lot easier. I just tried to find one that fit nicely over the area that I'm trying to make the moon out of. And so what I'm gonna do is this edge right here. So I'm gonna get some of this white paint and paint the edge. Like that. You don't want to put too much, because if you put too much, it might spread out weird and leave a strange like puddle or whatever. So just kind of lightly put that paint there on the edge. And you don't want to go this way, go out this way. Because on this side, on the outer layer is where the blue is. You want to keep this part on the inside whiter. So, oh shoot. Okay. Push down gently on all of it. Yeah, you get it more or less. Should have put a little bit more paint, but we get the picture. So now we just go in. If you look on our painting, it's brighter up here, so I'm gonna put more of that perfect or that pure white here at the top and spread it down. Okay, now we'll let that dry, and then after we dry that, we'll do another layer, and hopefully we should be good from there, and then we can get going on these branches and the rest of this bottom part, okay? Okay, we're back, guys. I went ahead and I let that moon dry for a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna work on adding this highlight up here and then it getting darker to this bottom area, kind of like how our painting goes here. Notice it's a lot lighter here at the top, and then here towards the bottom it's a little darker. So let's go ahead and start working on that for now. Okay, I'm gonna add some of this just pure white up here at the top. Okay guys, so while we let this moon dry off a little bit, let's go ahead and work on the stars. Here we have a lot of dots. Don't really like that. I want to make it look just a little bit more realistic. So what I did is, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you guys a cool little trick. So what I did is I got some of my paint here, Well, I got this specific brush here. So if you guys can see that, it's a bristle brush. And I just dipped the very tip of it into my white paint here. I got a little bit of water, and then I put it onto this separate little palette that I have. Now the trick with this is you're gonna grab from this front part of here, and you're gonna flick the little white specks onto our canvas. So let's go ahead and try that. Just very gently flick those white specks onto there. And if you want a little bit more stars in one area, you can do that. Now, you're not gonna want it all over the place. So let's shield it a little bit so we can get down here and try not to get it on our tree. Okay, and there we go. We got some nice stars, and they look a lot more real than these little dots. And I'm gonna try to raise the canvas so that you guys can see what this looks like. So if I raise it up, let's see here, you guys can see that it looks like stars on our canvas. Okay, so we'll let that dry a little bit more. Actually, what we're gonna start doing from here on, we'll let that dry just a tad, and then we're gonna work on the pumpkins. By the time we finish those pumpkins, then this should be dry so that we can go ahead and add our branches, okay? So let's go ahead and let that dry for a couple minutes. Okay guys, and we're back. So this background's dried enough, at least for us to go ahead and get started on our pumpkins, okay? So in the picture, I know I'm changing things around a little bit. In the picture, it's got 4 of them. The way that I did my little hill here, I'm only gonna put about 3. I wanna put one over here, one right here underneath the moon, and then another one over here. So let's go ahead and get that started right now. So you wanna get just your regular true orange. And again, this is probably gonna take a few layers, so bear that in mind. Okay, and make sure you get a nice brush to do this with. I don't know. I'm gonna see if this brush works. Let's see. So, let's go. Okay, so that's gonna be the first the first layer, and then we'll go ahead and we'll start another layer after that. So let's go ahead and let that dry first, okay? In 3, 2, 1, action. Okay, so as we let these little pumpkins here dry, I'm gonna try to start here on a branch so that we can put our little owl, and then we'll pretty much be done, okay? All right, so get just a tad on our brush here, and we'll start that branch. So let's go ahead and start. Okay, so as we let this part dry, we're gonna go ahead and give these pumpkins a second coat here, just so we can get them nice and bright. Okay, so we'll leave that to dry for another couple minutes, and then we'll get back to it again. Right now, we'll see. Okay guys, so while we let these pumpkins dry off, I'm gonna go ahead and try to add this little owl guy right here. We're gonna probably put him right there, so. This is something might take not. It looks simple, but sometimes the simplest things are the hardest. So let's see here. Okay, so we already got that owl painted out. We're gonna add another coat because we can still see kind of a little bit of those little background things. So let's add another coat, brighten up these pumpkins just a tad more before we add their faces. So we went ahead and we let those pumpkins that we filled in dry off, okay? After that, let's go ahead and start working on their faces. We're gonna work on those faces, and then the last part that we need is add the eyes to our owl, and then add a little bit of these highlights here from the moon, okay? So let's get to working on these faces and putting these little stalks on these guys, okay? So as you can see, this yellow is really thin. So this is probably, again, gonna take more than just one coat. So we'll let that dry and then we'll add another coat. But in the meantime, let me finish filling this guy's mouth here with that yellow, and then we'll add these little stalks afterwards. Okay guys, so we went ahead and we got those eyes on. We got some details here on these pumpkins. Now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of my black and brown, kind of darken this up here, darken these parts underneath, and then get to adding some of the highlights for the moon. And hopefully by that time, and we're done with all that, we can add the finishing touches on these, if they even need any. I kind of already like how they look as it is. So once we get all this done, we'll see where we're at. All right, let's go. So that's it for today, guys. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed painting along with me. We will be having a lot more videos like this in the future, guys. So make sure to like us on Facebook and stay tuned. We'll see you next time. Bye.